Hey, beautiful goddesses, my sisterhood. I have a message for you today, hopefully, that will support you and empower you in your life around relationships with men. I've been doing some channeling lately, and in a channeling I did through the Divine Feminine Council, and I'll go and dissect that, in further videos, but I wanted to give you an overall vibe of just encouraging you because, you're not alone in your frustration with finding a good man to partner with. It's a very common problem. It's almost like an epidemic, I'd say, on our planet at the moment. As people are awakening and as men are awakening, there's a little bit of a drag where some of us have crossed over into awakening and we're sort of waiting for the others to cross over. And it can be a little frustrating because then the amount of men who are awakened and able to match us empowered women is a smaller pool of choices than men have as far as finding women in those positions. So I know, being one of you in this position, and being a sociology background, I am aware that I have kind of come into a little bit more of an acceptance around not making the man the be all end all, because we've been kind of programmed to do that. It's almost like we were programmed into codependency with men, and because of the way the reality was shaped by the leadership of patriarchy, we were almost forced into this dependency upon them because of financial reasons that were not available to us. But now that has changed, and we do have sovereignty, and we do have careers, and we do have the ability to self-sustain and make our own money and be independent. You have more choices today than you did even just a few generations ago. Yeah, even from my mom's generation, huge shift. So I represent one of those that have done that well. And yes, it has required us to kind of be our own man in our life, especially those of us who didn't even have a dad that was available to support us either. But it's interesting. I'm noticing, because, I'm in the cougar stage of my life, and I am finding that, I have been holding space a long time to have a man that I felt like was truly able to meet me where I'm at in my consciousness. So being an advanced spiritual person who is also highly trained and educated in Tantra and relationships and communication skills, with a lot of wisdom, and, just having all my ducks in a row. It's not always easy, right, women, to find a man who has all their ducks in a row, especially when it comes to spirituality or communication skills or relationship skills. Consciousness, integrity, all these things that are required for a high vibrational relationship. And I found that I felt like I was draining a lot of my energy and holding space for this supposed man to come into my life that could truly match me. And I realized that it just is what it is. This is the way the planet is right now. There's a lot of catching up to do, I feel, in the masculines finding their way and awakening, and deprogramming from that patriarchy program that they were hit up with so hard. And we're going to have to be patient and loving. And I know for me, he doesn't have to be perfect or maybe have all of the things that I have to bring to the table, but he needs to have enough of it for me to work with, where I don't just feel like I'm being a mother to him, or it's going to take years and so much work just to get him up to the level of consciousness that I am. and I hope that doesn't sound snobby, it just sort of is what it is. There's a level of consciousness that people reach, and we shouldn't have to settle. But yet on this planet, I honestly would rather be independently sovereign without someone pulling me down than to just have someone in my life just because I want a man in my life. And some of you are rigged differently, but we're all having to kind of work with this right now, aren't we? Where it's not, in an ideal world, there would be plenty of choices of the men that we would want to maybe see about going into partnership with and building a life with. And instead, today, we're in a very different world where it's like, where are all the good men? Like that song, where have all the good men gone, and where are all the gods? Like heroes, So I know in my own life lately, I've been like, what? I could be waiting forever if I am playing this waiting game. And I'm realizing that, there's just more to life than having a man there. I think a lot of the programming is that, I have to have a man, and I see it in other women, and I'm like kind of sad for them, I notice, because they just see it as like somehow having a man in their life is making them legit or something. Whereas I look at it the opposite. I'm like, I'm totally self-sustaining, in and of myself, and a man doesn't make me valuable. Like, I'm valuable in and unto myself. And if a man wants to be in my life, he needs to make my life better, because I've experienced, like many of you, where the man is actually making my life harder or worse, and I feel like I'm just raising kind of an immature teenager, and I'm building him up and investing in him, but it's like, what is it doing for me? And then I finally am like, yeah, why am I even doing this? And then I leave, But, there's something that shifted in me this past month about it that I would like to kind of like have you pick up on through the energies here, which is that, sometimes we have to go into acceptance about just what is the reality of the situation right now. Because I can't single-handedly change the reality that I feel like, I love it when I come across a conscious man, and I am in circles where there's some beautiful men. And, there's not as many to choose from, as far as like, because feels like a lot of women who are really ready to have a conscious man there in their lives, and there's just a shortage. That will shift and that will change, but for now, it does feel like what's going on. And I have, in my channelings lately, they've been sharing with me, like all the blessings of being able to be sovereign, of having my own life and not having to answer to anyone or compromise constantly or deal with their drama, or like my time is my own, and I get to choose my schedule, and it's nice and uncomplicated, and I get to do all these things and have all these practices that I otherwise might not have time for if I was engaged in a relationship or had kids or what, any number of things. And so they're helping me appreciate, the perks in being in gratitude for, there's always a pro and con to everything, right? But for some reason I notice, hey, I'm draining a lot of energy just trying to hold space for this man to come in, which it might be a while. I just don't really want to hold my breath anymore. It just feels like it's draining my energy to try to, I don't know, like have his arrival come. It's, like I feel like I'm better off just moving forward with my life. Of course, I'm always going to be aware of men around and so forth, because who doesn't love romance and want to be connected with a beautiful man? that'll always be there, but at the same time, I don't want to be draining my energy, and I want to just get on with life, and not feel like I'm on hold because he hasn't come into the picture yet. And I'm one of those ones that's not willing to settle. And I've watched women bend over backwards to make things work with a guy that just really wasn't up to par, and I'm just not willing to do that. It is so draining. It's like raising a child, and yeah, I'm not willing to do that. I don't care how hot he is. That's not enough for me. They got to have a lot more than that going for him, because I do. I have a lot going for me, and I want a man who also has a lot going for him, that's mature, that's grounded, that has character and integrity, and can carry a conversation and stuff. So anyway, I just want you to know that you're not alone. This is definitely something that's going on. And I think, being that we're in that stage where it's like, wow, where are the good men? We get to focus on other things right now instead. And we're here on this planet for a reason. What is your purpose? What are you meant to be contributing to the overall benefit of the planet, so that we can transform more effectively and efficiently into this new way of life that we're bringing into the Aquarian age? What do you enjoy doing? Put your energy into things that you love doing. Put your energy into your relationships with your sisterhood, because they're ready to go, right? We love to geek out together on all kinds of stuff. So I've been seeking out women's circles and just enjoying that instead in the meantime, because my needs just aren't getting met through men or dating apps. And it's just, a lot of us, we're just not gonna settle for a mainstream man who's just basic and like not spiritual at all, perhaps, or so. And at the same time, we're conscious enough to be patient and loving and supportive, but not to the point where we feel like our needs aren't getting met, because we've gone too long without our needs being met. We've been very generous and very accommodating through the years, and it's our turn. It's like, get with the program. Otherwise, we're going to just take off without you, and it's and we'll just have a goddess fest. And wait, when the guys catch up, then join us, kind of thing. And I'm so grateful for the men who are already there, because boy, it just reminds me that it is possible, and they are getting there, and some of them are doing their work, and they are, intelligent and skilled, and they're contributing to the field of it all and helping things along. And I love that. It's so exciting to see that, and the men that are in touch with their feelings, and are in touch with their inner divine feminine, and just see the truth, instead of, because otherwise, in opposition to that, you have a man who's just overly programmed according to the patriarchy and hasn't broken out of it yet, and it's just old school, and we women see right through it, and we realize when we assess him, we're like, oh yeah, he's just not there yet. He's needs to be deprogrammed and get with the times of, and spirituality is a big piece of the puzzle. Like, if I can't really be with someone who's not spiritual, they're just two-dimensional to me, and I need someone who's multidimensional like myself. Anyway, I would like to usher in with you, with your energy joining me right now. I invoke and activate that the men wake up as effectively and efficiently as they possibly can. Thank you, universe, for giving them the aha moments and the wake-up calls they need, the higher selves of them and the guides and angels that are assigned to each one of them to help them along and prompt them so that they are making wise decisions in their life, in their relationships, that they are seeking out Tantra and conscious relating and communication skills so that they can be more of the hero that we need him to be, that can match us, without us having to kind of pull the weight for him, but that he's able to be an empowered divine masculine like he's meant to be. And we thank you so much for the realization of this beautiful vision, this new reality, this new norm where men get it. They are so beautiful in their awakened selves. That's probably the sexiest thing I can think of a man can do, is to awaken. And I'm so excited to watch the unfolding of this as it comes into our reality.